As a designer, I worked with a lot of different material. Um, it's usually the material that kind of leads my designs. So I always start off with a concept, and then with that concept I always focus on a material. The residency kind of evolves how studies usually are. It started off of 3 phases, which was a germination kit, a material study, and a nursery at the beginning of the design. It was a nursery that would kind of add upon the germination kit. Everything has to be made or found in Qatar from around the farm. The farm is my source of inspiration, so linking everything back to the farm, whether it's through materiality, whether it's through principles, whether it's through the concept, there was always this link back. There's a lot in a box, you know. Whenever you put a creative person in a box, they can stay in that box, but there's a lot of different corners to explore. There's a lot of different ways to kind of look at it. Terra Grow was a really interesting project, as the design was always there. I always knew how the design is going to be. It was mostly researching the materiality, which kind of now evolved into the material study that I'm researching with the farm about wild clay and the uses of wild clay. It's so interesting is because if you haven't had that place, you would need to dig this deep to access that clay, and that clay is the level that is down under the limestone, where it's being kept preserved. There's a lot of unexplored materials, which is the beauty of it, because this just informs my generation that we are the ones that should look for these materials, which kind of led the investigation of wild clay and why I should focus on wild clay as a material. Personally, I'm very used to traditional wheels, throwing clay, using combs. So it was really interesting to move away from that, totally the entire opposite, and let the material decide what it wants to be, which was a very big difficulty when going and designing Terra Grow from wild clay. Was every single wild clay you would find is totally different. What you have in the material, it's like you're listening to it. You know, you have to really feel the texture, the taste, the smell of it. Differs every single time, although it's the same exact location that we kind of visited. The entire thing. I'm gonna take this home. And this research, I'm kind of looking at not only the material, where clay is found, how to fire it, not just pottery, but also wellness, architecture, agriculture. So how clay can be implemented in almost everything. How we can use it as tedlak, which is a technique of covering walls, or perhaps in mixing clay with soil for some plants as a nutrition, to pottery, to the possibilities of pottery. So this investigation is, although it sounds limited, it's endless, because you can do a lot with clay. It's a very flexible structure compared to other places around Doha. I feel like, especially because Heenat Salma itself is very young, so I feel like they're trying to shape themselves, and I'm also trying to shape myself. So it's a very beautiful conversation. That link between us two, and how we were kind of developing together.